This is a 3D printer, and this is a shelf that you could buy for your desk. The price is insane, but did you know that you can actually just 3D print a fully modular desk shelf for only a couple dollars worth of filament? This is literally the future. But this actually got me thinking because the other day my fiance walked past my office and she noticed my desk has been getting kind of cluttered lately. And like always, she's right. So I started thinking, what else can I print that can make this desk setup much cleaner? Now I'm gonna be printing everything on this bad boy, the Bambu Lab A1 paired with the AMS Lite. Bambu is sponsoring today's video, but I truly think that this is such a great entry-level printer. I really want you guys to see that you don't need an expensive 3D printer or any sort of 3D printing expertise to get into 3D printing. I said 3D printing a lot, but this video is meant to show you just how easy all of this really is. So with the desk shelf printed to help keep things up here organized, I placed back the monitor and pretty much cleaned off the rest of the desk, so we're starting at a blank slate. Now, before we continue with anything up here, I think we should take a look under the hood at the most dreadful part of any desk setup. The cable management. The evil music's playing, that's how you know it's serious. Now, I personally don't know how to 3D model things, but luckily Bambu has a site called MakerWorld, which is pretty much just a giant library of community-made 3D models, and that is where I found this really cool cable management solution called underwear. Like not underwear you wear, but like under like hardware. It's basically a giant modular cable management system that you can customize however you want or need. But with a cable management system this big, this means there's going to be a lot of pieces to print. Now, luckily the bed size of the A1 is actually pretty large. It's actually the same size as one of Bambu Lab's higher end 3D printers, which is kind of insane. But this pretty much means that we're gonna be able to print multiple pieces that we need at one time, making this process a lot faster. Cable management has always been such a tedious process, especially if you're wanting to add or remove things in the future, but I'm hoping this new system will make things a lot easier. I also don't have a heat gun, so I'm using a hairdryer to get this adhesive off a power strip. Don't judge me. Okay, so how this works is we pretty much have like this multi-board system. These connect to each other, but they're supposed to mount to the bottom of the desk. And then with these little channels and tubes, this is where your cables will slide into. But then using these connector pieces, you can connect the channels and tubes to the multi-board system. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of crazy that right out of the box, you could just start printing things. Like, I know nothing about 3D modeling, and here I am building a custom cable management system. It's crazy. All right, so I got the multi-board mounted to the bottom of the desk here, and I wanted to show you guys how the tubes actually connect on here. I actually just want to see for myself. But basically, print these little connector pieces out, and then that then connects onto these tubes, which then, in theory, should just snap into place. Whoa, that is so sick. Insanely satisfying also. There you go. That is so sick. Obviously, you would use more connectors so it's not spinning around like this, but I am satisfied. That is pretty sick. I did run into an issue, and that is, even though we just had a super cool montage of printing all of these multi-boards, I actually didn't print enough of them. Luckily, I have already printed everything else we need for this desk setup. So while the rest of the multi-boards print, let's set up the rest of the desk. So since I printed this desk shelf, that meant I had to get rid of my old sound bar. And now that means I need to get a new sound setup. Now, luckily, I have built so many setups in the past, and that basically means I have a bunch of spare parts laying around, including these two speakers. We could place one here and the other one over here. The only thing I think they need now are some stands. They didn't come with any, but again, that is where the magic of 3D printing comes in. You have an idea, and then in a couple of hours, even with no design skills, you have a physical item. I ended up finding some speaker stands on MakerWorld in like 5 minutes, and then 2.5 hours later, we're good to go. The A1 has a print speed of 500 millimeters a second. It's a lot of millimeters, but basically that means you're gonna get your prints a lot faster. Okay, this next item is actually more on the fun side. So this is a gaming setup after all, and while I was browsing MakerWorld, I ended up finding this, a sub-optimum gaming mouse. It's basically a 3D printed frame for the Razer Death Adder. You basically take apart the mouse, print this frame out, combine them together, and you turn this 59-gram mouse into a 20-gram super light gaming mouse. It's obviously heavily inspired by Optimum's Zero mouse. I mean, Optimum is literally in the name. If you've never seen his, definitely go check it out because it looks sick. But I thought this one also looked really cool, and the fact that I could print one that's pretty similar to the Zero mouse was bonkers. So I sent it over to the A1, printed it out, and here
here it is. Even for something this small and detailed, the A1 prints it with super high precision. All the tiny cutouts, the mounting points, even the tree supports all came out super clean, and I was pretty happy with it. Or at least I thought I was. Because then I started thinking, what if I matched the mouse with my keyboard? This is where 3D printing gets even more fun. Multicolor printing. Now, when you do multicolor printing, all you have to do is hit pause and then switch the filament out. But when you introduce something like the AMS Lite, this essentially allows you to easily do multicolor printing because it's automatically switching the filaments out for you. It's pretty sick. This means you could load up to 4 colors, hit print, and then just walk away. For the mouse, the model is originally 1 color, so I threw it in Bamboo Studio and painted it with what colors I do want, and this is what we got.
All right, so I have the mouse fully printed out. I wanted to give it a test run, put my PC back on the desk. I have not played on PC in months. This feels incredible. This mouse pad is usually terrible to game with, but the mouse being so light, like it just feels like a normal mouse pad. I will say though, you do lose the ability to scroll, which is kind of an L because I love the scroll wheel. This is so sick. I might have to start gaming again, guys. I'm getting cooked though.
I have never used a mouse this light before, but this just goes to show just how fun 3D printing could be. Making random mods, trying things you would normally never buy, or printing things you wouldn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on. Before we get to the last item, I ended up finishing the cable management system that I printed earlier, but I also printed a few more things, like these coasters that look like pallets. I don't know, I thought they looked cool. This little succulent guy. So cute. To give the desktop a cleaner look, I also printed this. This is a MacBook holder, so I can now slide my MacBook under my desk, but the ports are still exposed, so I can still plug things in. Big brain. And every desk needs a place to charge your phone, so I found this floating MagSafe charger that attaches to your monitor. I think it looks sick. All of these things that I've printed, big or small, the A1 has been insanely reliable. And that's why I think this is an incredible entry-level printer. It's affordable and insanely easy to use, and it just looks cool. I know 3D printing can seem kind of intimidating. I mean, it definitely was for me when I started, but the A1 makes it so easy. If you're wanting to get into 3D printing, I highly recommend you check out the Bamboo Lab A1. I'll leave a link in the description, and thank you again to Bamboo Labs for sponsoring this video. This last item on the list is one that will top all of this off. It's nothing crazy, nothing revolutionary, yet it's still the most important thing I can add to my space. I pretty much live at this desk, whether I'm writing scripts, taking meetings, or editing late into the night. Don't get me wrong though, I absolutely love that this is what I get to do for a living. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But of course, like any job, it can be draining sometimes, to the point where I doubt myself or question if I'm truly building anything. Which is why this last piece means the most to me. It's a reminder to myself that all these late nights, all these long hours here, they're gonna be worth it.